And here you have, a link that you can select and copy, and you can access your recording through the link. So just by doing that, again, select and copy, you have the link ready to be sent to your professor. All right, so I'm going to leave the screen of Google Hangouts. Okay, and as you can see here, I have my conversación sobre los planes de hoy en la tarde. It's in the list of videos that I have done.
And that's what we try to do here at Breakthrough. 2 weeks off, that's great, but I would rather take a week or two's vacation 3 or 4 times a year, if at all possible. And you can do it. You can do it. That's the amazing thing about our industry. Okay. Next, you have big events. Every year, I suggest doing a customer appreciation event. If you're getting behind a cause, schedule those events. If you your anniversaries of people moving into their home. There's a lot of things that you're going to want to plan and plan ahead. Your Christmas parties, your whatever it might be, plan ahead events. Otherwise, they get missed. Customer appreciation is never miss out on the customer appreciation items. That is one of the biggest, best things that you can do for people, and they will love it. Your betterment time. Your betterment time. I call that like your reading books, listening to podcasts, researching, doing things that interest you. These are things that will make you better as a person. Even the only one of my favorite sayings is the only person you have to be better than is the person you were yesterday. Okay, the only person you have to be better than today is the person you were yesterday. And betterment time is how we do that. If it's working out, yoga, meditating, reading, whatever it is, do what you need to do to become the best person you can be. Next, bookkeeping, receipts, logging mail, emails, adherence, your personal life.
Always mute yourself the moment you come into a meeting. But you can turn it off. I just wanted to make sure you were saying that. Yeah, it was broadcasting properly. We're on.
Treat yourself accordingly. So if you have to run errands, schedule them for
Between boundaries.
work. Emails. A lot of things pop up and they seem important at the time, but they're not necessarily fires that have to be put out right now. So schedule a time for emails. You don't have to get back to every single one immediately. Certain things you do, but again, more often than not, as you're going to find, what seems to be an emergency right now probably isn't. It seems that way, but it's not. Okay, and continuing ed. That's another one because, for example, code of ethics every 2 years or so, and then same thing. You're continuing ed every 24 hours. If you're a broker, you've got your extra. Schedule that in advance. It's always fun when you realize you have a month and less than a month, and you have to renew your license. It's much better if you can schedule them throughout the couple of years to take the classes you want to take that truly interest you. There's classes you can take, and then there's classes you want to take. If it all falls in line up to take as many of the classes you want to take, obviously it's better. Okay, that is what my list of what the main topics you're going to want to put into your schedule. Go ahead and check out this video.
Last week, I set up missing hours in an open house in Burbank, and I sent one of my writers, Jamie, there. She dressed up as a realtor named Renata, and it's a segment we're calling Renata, the Not Real Realtor. I gave her 3 challenges. She had to take a phone call for her boyfriend, she had to sing a popular song,
I know.
and face what they do. more people. Let's see how she did.
Renata, the not real realtor. She's not a really real realtor. Yeah.
Renata, how you doing?
How long have you guys been looking for a house? When your party starts. Well, sometimes the first one is all you need. This is the dining room. Oh, yeah. Before we start, the people who live here are germaphobes. So I was wondering if you could help me out by just putting these booties on. Perfect. Just because they're just kind of crazy.
Yes.
That's sweet. LA, you know? Stay right here, and I wanted to show you that these doors are actually soundproof.
Okay.
So. You hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hearing a great feature of the house. And you guys have kids, so.
Soundproof, huh?
We do not go in this room. That's where the crime happened, but all the doors are staying. Okay, here's the master bedroom. You guys don't have kids yet, but that's where this happens. My phone is buzzing. Just give me 1 second. What? I told you I can't talk right now. I'm at work. Do not turn this around on me. Do not. You will not hang up. I'm hanging up on you. You will not hang up on me. Hey, why has to work? That's why. Okay. We'll talk about this when I get home. Hi. Oh, do you guys want to see something really quick? Do you guys want to see their underwear? No. Well, let's go back around through this way. And let's talk about an offer. We're still gonna check it out and keep looking. Well, I know that you guys think that you've been dealing with a crazy person, but I'm not really a realtor. I work for the Ellen Show, and you guys are on camera. They're here right there, and there are cameras there. Wave to Ellen. Thank you guys so much for being
I like how
here.
you yellow matches. Yes, thank you. I love yellow
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Josh Ezell. I'm
Yes.
owner and designated
At the
broker
open
of
house.
real estate property management.
Judge
Hope you're having a
Brown.
great day. Realtors, I want to take a few moments and talk to you about time. Now, if you don't mind, I know we get asked this question a lot. So think about it for a second. What is your time worth? Whether it's hourly or salary, at the end of the year, what do you expect to be compensated for all of your time? Now, take a moment, grab a pen and a paper, and write that figure down, okay? Just quickly write it down. Now, go ahead and set that aside, okay? We'll come back to that in a little bit. First, we're gonna talk about what we do with our time. And I've narrowed it down to the top 8 tasks that agents have to do, whether we like it or not, in order to A, make money, but B, tackle everything we need to in our business, right? So, let's go ahead and start with, first and foremost, prospecting, of course. Prospecting, got to day in and day out. Now, the one question is, how much prospecting? That's the question, right? Now, I can't tell you how much is right for you. Obviously more is more. But I'm gonna operate off of a kind of minimum amount. So if you go above this, perfect. If you go below, not quite what we would probably suggest, okay? So, but find your perfect number, all right? So for the sake of this analysis, we'll just use 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. Now, we're not talking, prepping for, we're talking legitimately 2 hours of hardcore prospecting, right? So we're gonna say prospecting, 2 hours a day times 3 days a week, that would be 6 hours. Okay? So, not everybody does it, but as a broker, I am a firm believer in farming. Pick an area and own it. Get as large of a market share as you can have, and that will be your greatest source of listings, et cetera, right? So, farming. Now, I guess the minimal I would say necessary to have an effective farm would be getting in front of them no less than twice a month, right? So let's say you go out for 2 hours a time, twice a month, 4 hours a week, right? Or 4 hours a month. Okay. We'll put a little bow here for fun. All right, next, my favorite thing in the world, open houses. Now, I know some of you will say, open houses don't work. I feel you. Personal belief, there's nothing better than getting face-to-face, belly-to-belly with a prospective buyer or seller. There's no easier way to get in front of them than via open houses. It's the only way you get people to come to you in our business. So, open houses, absolutely. Firm believer. Now, how many though? Okay, so I will say, let's do,
Hi, how are you? I haven't seen you in forever.
4 hours.
I know.
Say
Only
4
on the
hours
video.
a week.
Only on the video.
Okay, now, appointment. If all of those top 3 went well, you will have appointment. Now, appointments, let's say in a perfect world, we're going out at least 3 days a week for 4 hours a day. That should be good for at least, several appointments, right? So, say 4 hours, 3 days a week, that would be approximately 12 hours spent on appointment. Okay, if you're good, that could be a bunch of appointments. So, next, contracts, paperwork, everything. Not necessarily like doing, but contracts make this money, right? So, contracts, let's say at least 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, right? So that would be 5 hours a week. So next, this is the part that again, not many agents think about when you get into business, but we own our own business. We have to keep track of our money coming in and going. So accounting. Now, obviously this will vary greatly depending on the size of your business, but I would say for a basic agent, 1 hour a day, probably twice a month is probably pretty good, right? So that would be about 2 hours a month-ish. All right, advertising and marketing. Now, I have these separate because you have prospecting, you have advertising, and then you have marketing, okay? My opinion, prospecting is you on the phone, boom. Marketing is you targeting. That would be like your farm. You're marketing deliberately to your farm. You're deliberately marketing to your past clients you're sending them in. And on the flip side, you have advertising. Say you have a listing and you're just putting mass advertising out there. That's what I classify as advertising. You're kind of throwing a mass blanket out there, not necessarily targeting a particular party, okay? It might be a stupid differentiation, but I classify it as stupid, right? But nonetheless, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, right? So that's 5 hours a week. Last but not least, emails and other. This is everything else that may or may not be necessary that we have to tackle, that hopefully we're trying to run, not wasting our time, but details, other things that have to be done, right? So let's say again, 1 hour a day, 5 days a week. That's 5 hours a week. All right, so if we add all this up between the 6 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours, adding it up between monthly and weekly, believe it or not, this comes out to 38.5 hours. Okay, so let's go ahead and say that we are going to have an hour and a half of prep or whatever. Say for taking down and putting up your open house, random stuff. So let's account for that extra hour and a half. So we are deliberately operating 40-hour work week. Now this is where I see a lot of agents get in trouble.
Now,
Just because you're busy does not necessarily mean.
So this is the first time we're streaming. We're streaming on YouTube, Google Hangouts, and we're actually recording if all goes well. So this is the first time. Hopefully, it's all going to be functioning as it needs and should be, which would be wonderful. Yeah, that's so cool. So anyway. Yeah, we're good. So, how's everybody?
Good. How are
Good,
you?
thank
Doing
you.
good.
John said he's gonna try to get on the link.
Perfect. I hope it's gonna. Chat. It's funny how it does that loop.
Yeah, it's kind of like a really bad,
Yeah, sharing my screen, sharing the screen, sharing the screen,
like
sharing the
House of
screen.
Mirrors.
But the moment I pop over, it works properly. It's just so fun. Okay. So 1 more minute. What is the proper time to start a real estate meeting? Is it 10 minutes late, or is it should you start on time?
On time, I guess.
No matter where you go for vacation and stuff like that, it's always like local time. You know, is it like Hawaiian time, California time?
We have realtor time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It makes sense. I heard
Island
somebody
time.
say that the other day that it was like 10 minutes because it's realtor time.
Exactly. So has everybody met Molly, my daughter?
No, Molly and Julie.
She's officially a high schooler.
Woohoo!
That's Josh's pride and joy,
Yes, she is.
and Grandma's too.
And as you could tell by the smiley face at 10 o'clock in the morning, she's a teenager.
Oh,
No.
stop.
Yeah, it was not a pleasant morning in the Ezell household, unfortunately. I'm not sure if we ate something bad last night, but it was not a good morning. I'll just say that.
Well, just as long as you're doing better now.
Enough coffee will solve almost anything. So, hello?
There's a little echo over there.
You don't need to log in, Fred.
I'm muting.
Yeah. But you don't necessarily, we're right here. I'd rather watch us live.
I was just getting it up front.
I love that.
So, all right. Well, as we get started, anybody want to share any cool stories, wins, lessons, anything like that?
Any what, I'm sorry?
Any lessons learned, wins this week? Anything special, fun? Actually, for the last month.
I just think it's kind of cool when you have a deal in the making and, you have to, sometimes lenders, might miss a detail here or there, but I love when you have a buyer who is so motivated that no matter what, they're gonna make a deal happen. So it's like, oh, okay, we can do it. So it's like, I'm still closing next week, so I'm excited.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
What was the hiccup?
The lender failed to verify income.
Yeah.
Are you representing the seller?
Thank goodness it was one of the perfect situations where they're selling a house and can now pay cash. It's one out of how many can do that? So it happened with the perfect person on the perfect house.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah, I learned something else too this last week. If you have a client that you're working with and they have a bank with an account and have a relationship with that bank, get them pre-qualified through that bank instead of another bank. They already have a relationship, and it's better to do it up front than switch in the middle.
Is that a credit union you're talking about there too?
No.
No?
My client had a relationship and an account with a bank.
Yeah.
I got it pre-qualified through one of the other lenders that we use.
Uh-huh.
that lender went through hoops to try to get her pre-qualified.
Yeah.
Did, but then the client went back and says, "Oh, I'm not going to use you. I'm going to use my bank." So if they have a bank and a relationship, get that bank to pre-qualify.
Depends.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have an
that was a little
opposite
iffy.
story on that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah.
I have the exact opposite happening where
It takes a little bit of the responsibility off of your reference, you know.
Well, it's beyond that though. I'll let you tell
well,
your
no,
story
we have a situation where prospective buyer, so we had an offer come in on a listing from buyer A, and then buyer B really wanted the house. So that agent was scrambling to get the pre-qual in, and this client of hers was very disappointed. I won't say who the bank was because she's been a customer of the bank for years, and her lender was out of town. Nobody in his team could help. Spent 2 days trying to get this pre-qual together because I said, I'm expecting this offer. The offer came in, and then we had to respond by the next day. So she was dropping us the offer within 2 hours of us having to respond. And my clients ended up taking that offer, but now she's not going to work with her bank because she's livid with what happened and how long he took and how many gyrations he took. And it's probably just an individual situation, but they're now going to probably switch lenders because even though they used the bank's pre-qual, she's so upset with how they handled it. She's actually shopping to other lenders. So
we're just the opposite.
Yeah, right.
You know,
so I think it just
my lender, the loan officer of the bank, and accompanied my client to the escrow closing.
That's good.
In fact, drove them there.
I think it's always just having good partners.
You know,
the
you can
people.
look at institutions and put value on it. Comes down to people. It comes down to people.
No, I agree.
100%.
I totally agree. Yeah.
And that's where don't have any particular ties. You can have, and I begrudgingly say this a little bit, you can take somebody, for example, at Wells Fargo, and they could actually be a great lender themselves. I don't like their company, but they could be a great lender. And really, really, it boils down to this week I've ran into a couple communication snafus too with some of our preferred lenders. And so we've had issues with a non-preferred lender and both of our preferred lenders over the last week.
It can happen. It can happen very easy.
Trying to find, you can't eliminate all the issues and all the problems, but finding the good people who will minimize them as much up front. Verifying income should have been verified long before.
Oh yeah,
that should have never been an issue.
That's
a sign of inexperience right there. On the other hand, we have one that's supposed to close basically today/tomorrow, and nobody was able to get a hold of said lender yesterday. Buyer hasn't signed. They got sent the closing CD last Friday, so we're supposed to close hopefully today was the goal, and still no word. I'm not happy, so we're gonna have to figure something out because when you have a partnership, it's supposed to hold people to a higher standard for a good reason. You're better together, and it's supposed to be, right? When it breaks down, it makes everybody look bad, unfortunately. So there's good and there's bad to having referred people, but it's supposed to be good. And more often than not, it should be and it will be, but not always. So that's why I always refer, if you find that good person, stick with that person, not necessarily that bank or whoever. That person's doing a great job. That person picked them up, drove them. That is incredible. Stick with them.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
Exactly. You can't go wrong. That's great. Absolutely. And have 2 or 3 just in case, though. How many people was it that we've heard our employee total when people buy a home? From start to finish, I've heard as little as like 70, but as much as like 250 total. If you break it down to from the realtor to the to the escrow officers, to the lenders, to the underwriters, to the inspectors, to the appraisers, to the people who live at home, who work at Home Depot, to all the other people spread throughout. When somebody starts the process to the time they close on their home, it employs a crap ton of people overall.
And I didn't have a problem with the preferred lender because he busted his butt getting everything done. He didn't do anything wrong. She just changed in the middle of the transaction. That's, that, I hate for someone to do all that work and then be left, because I don't like to be left that way.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. We got a lot to cover, and today is a kind of big, important day, and we're gonna make sure this video is viewed by all the agents, because today is very, very important. Experienced agents, I'm gonna hopefully rely on you guys to help chime in and spread some lessons learned, I guess you can say. So let's go ahead and dive in with the awesome stuff first beforehand. Number one, I didn't get a chance to update this. We're now at 53, and we are well over 5 million, on our way close to 6 million closed. And we currently have 31 for another almost doubling that, basically. So in the next 45 days, we should be on track to break 10 million. And we will pretty much be on track to keep going. We have several people who are just rocking, i.e. one of them is here at the table, Julie. And I did verify. Currently, we have it was a little over $116,000 in commissions pending with the agents. So the agents are on track, and that splits between about 6 or 7 people total. 7, I think, currently. And so it's really, really neat. And we also have, what was it, 10 or 11 listings, which aren't even accounted for on that. So there's a lot more potential.
I'll get another one in there today. I just had a sign off yesterday.
Right on. Yeah. So we have well over $100,000 in commission pending, and then we got well over another $100,000 plus in listings going on, which will bring us all leads. So we love listings. So great job, everybody. For the last month straight, we have had somewhere between 25 and I think we peaked out at 33 pending and listed at the same time. And if we could stay at that mark, it's nice, because every week when I'm doing the numbers, watching it, I know if the office is going to make $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, that means the agents are making a lot of money. And that makes doing books very pleasant and very exciting. So that's been on track now for about 2 months straight. It's been just a continuation. So great job. Next, stat newsletter. It's going to kind of reiterate what we just said. Do you think overall we have, come back here. Okay, so last month, 8,990 sales, okay, which is down month over month, but up 3% year over year, almost 4%, okay? So new inventory, look at this, down 6%, but again, up 3% year over year. So what do you think that means as far as supply and demand at the moment?
Well, I think the demand bumped up because of the increase in rates. I'm seeing a lot more buyers getting off the fence and people saying, I better do it now or it's never, kind of a thing, or I want to do it, I have to do it by the end of the year. And so it's just gotten, way busier for me anyways, the last 6 weeks than, the first 3 months of the year. I don't know if other
so as far as supply, then I think we're still at a place where we do not have enough homes.
No.
the
Oh, no, no,
numbers.
Absolutely.
And so
No.
I'm curious to see then with your statistics, are we looking at 2 months? Is it now less than 2 months, like a month and a half or?
Well, according to them,
Mhm.
21,772.
Yeah, but that also
Which is-
includes.
Look at that decrease, and year over year decrease of almost 10%. Year over year. That's a lot. So that brings us to 16,000 truly active and 4,020, basically 3/4 of the ones that people see on realtor.com, et cetera, are not, are active, but 1 out of every 4 is not going to be. But that means current month's inventory, 2.42.
Okay, so
But-
2.5.
Yep, but that is based off of that other number. So if you really break it down, 9,000 sales, 16,000 active. What does that really mean?
It's less than.
Yeah. We are still hopping, and it's picked up. Last month there was a little drop actually, and it seemed like, oh, that was unique. But right now this is it. Yeah.
I've noticed more people when I get on the phone talking about anything with another agent, we all start to ask each other, what have you got going on? What buyers do you have out there? And what listings do you have coming on the market? Like people are just naturally saying, I've got this in my pocket. It's coming up if you need a good one. And then I'll say, oh my gosh, I have a buyer looking for this and this. Do you know of anything? And I feel like the agents that are out there, hustling right now, they appreciate that. So I have about 6 or 7 written down that I know that these agents have stuff coming, because that's I don't know. I just feel like that could be like a whole nother trend, if you will, of people dealing. We have one in the neighborhood where I have a listing right now in South Mountain, and it was an arm's length transaction to the point where the buyer and seller did not know each other, but it was all done through the network. A neighbor knew his next door neighbor was going to be putting it on the market, and that got passed to another neighbor in the area that's a realtor who had a client, and they bought, and it's like a really good price. It wasn't like a cash deal or anything like that. So it's a very good comp, helping our whole neighborhood up there. And it was all done off the MLS. So it's totally a monsoon comp.
Yeah, and I think Sharisa has one too, where she originally helped the person buy the house and knew that this person was going to be selling, knew somebody who was looking. And so same thing, non-MLS.
Yeah. I think we're going to see more of that too.
Yeah. Right now in the investor world, the fourplex is pretty much people that aren't afraid to go commercial. They're not having issues, but people that are looking for a good fourplex, triplex, duplex, etc., they're having issues finding the good ones. And I'm relying on my network for everything. Between Patrick and several other agents that we keep just sharing anything and everything off market. I got this coming up. I got this coming up. Oh, this one looks like it's going to fall out, And if it wasn't for those, both of mine wouldn't have gone through right now. Literally, yeah.
Wow.
So it's relying on relationships more than ever. If they like you and know that you're good to deal with, you'll get preferential treatment when it comes to future things. Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
Well, out of curiosity, so how did is the deal on Campbell?
We'll not go into deals right now. But yeah, so relying on those it's key. So absolutely, I 100% agree. In a seller's market, if you're going to be representing buyers, having connections is awesome.
True.
But then having sellers is also, you're in control at this point too. So having as many listings in a market like this will make a career. And that kind of comes back to the farming part, where if you dominate an area, you're going to have buyers, you're going to have sellers, and you will have people in this type of market that are looking for a home. And you'll have the relationships with the owners. Hey, I know you guys aren't necessarily looking to sell at this moment, but there's some for help people. If you might ever consider, let me know. And you'll create things that would have never happened otherwise. And that's what will set you up above and beyond, help your career a bunch. Yeah. So, so here we are, 280,000 new list price, actual sales price, 254. So that is continuing to go up. It's well above 250, and I keep hearing conflicting numbers that now the 2008 master price was 270 or 2007 peak price, but that was also for a smaller home.
Yes.
So I'm hearing conflicting reports now that we beat the past, but we're still not quite to the past.
Like the paper, the Sunday,
Yeah,
that Catherine Rieger, I think, had an article in there saying that we've achieved prices. It's not the same. I was in a class this last week, and we were pulling up some statistics through Cromford report, and it's not everywhere.
yeah.
Scottsdale is one example where we haven't reached the peaks yet. There's definitely some places in the valley that have, and I think the average is coming up. But you're right. I think when we pulled our numbers for a little area, the square footage of the house has gone up about, in our example, about 180 square feet is the average.
What was your average size?
Well, we were looking, I think they looked in either Phoenix for the example, or we were looking at a particular zip code. I can't remember. And the difference was between 1,400 square feet and like 1,580 square feet.
Okay.
From
was that
2000,
okay.
2007 to now.
Okay.
And just pulling up statistics from the MLS, from doing like a CMA and going to statistical buyer and just doing the whole year I think he did 2006 to the end, just to see what the difference was, because you can see the average square foot on there. It's a really fast, easy way to check it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good way when you go into a listing presentation, because people get the information like, oh yeah, the prices have to be up this high, and some sellers are getting a little bit jaded with the information, and so they kind of think that they should ask for a higher price than they really should. And I think that's a good way to combat it, is to show people, the prices are higher, but also the houses have changed.
That's where I like how Tucson's MLS, and I think Sedona has it too. They rely a lot more on submarkets, which they have actual built in. Like last week on the training, the guy showed us how to kind of create our own little submarkets and save those, which was really, really neat. But they automatically have them. Like Deer Valley would be a submarket, and Arrowhead submarket, Awatuki submarket, a bunch of them, to kind of pocket the different categories, because that makes all the difference. You know, Central Phoenix, between the sevens, is specifically, as you mentioned, it's night and day. If you cross over 7th Avenue, your price just drops significantly, you know? And having those sub-market details is so important. And comparing apples to apples. What was yours? Was a 5-bedroom. Running comps, one of her first houses. That was fun. What was your, it was a 5-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was 2,500 square feet. The average home in that neighborhood was 1,800 square feet.
Wow.
This person was paying like about $40 less a square foot for this house, but was paying about $30,000 more for the home total. But hands down was getting price per square foot the best deal in the neighborhood by far. You know, that's one of those really rare, unique situations. So anyway, all right, so let's keep going. Sales price forecast, you'll see, wasn't it last month, correct me if I'm wrong, they had it predicted going down a little bit, didn't they?
I think so.
This month they got it going up. So, yeah, and that's especially interesting going into summer. And again, distress sales going down. So crazy. This is a unique market. Look at that, dropped but significantly. Went from 72, right, and to 66. So the market, no ifs, ands, or buts. It picked up. Anybody have any questions, thoughts on that one?
It's just, it's interesting. It's a good time to be in real estate.
You gotta have the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn this around, and we're we're gonna kind of have a, I guess you can classify it as a chat. As agents, tell me when you could actually see this properly.
Look at those good-looking people.
That's scary.
There we go. Cool. All right. Everybody gets into real estate for different reasons. And as every brokerage tries to offer the best support, the best training, the best everything for the agents, because our whole goal is to take self-employed people in an industry that most fail. We all know the industry standards. You know, of these people here, literally 2 of us will be lucky to be here and still have our license in 4 or 5 years. That's actually beyond. That's over 20% because we don't even have enough. The fact Fred over there has his license for over 30 years, you're literally like 1 in a million. And I'm not joking. That's probably a legitimate stat for a person to have their license for 30 years out of everybody. You probably are. You're like a unicorn. And that's awesome. Right? And this week, the brokerage has encountered several things. And it's happened a little too often over the last 2 years. And as we're growing, we're learning and we're having to adapt and change. And I don't know if I should start off with some of the things that have happened. Okay. As agents, what is actually I have a couple questions here that are good. What is the importance of what we do in the context of, are we helping people with something small or is it a big deal?
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal for most people. That's one of the biggest investments.
Because they're looking at 30 years investment, if not, to be paid off sooner. But yeah.
Okay. Now, as far as the liabilities and the legalities of us facilitating these transactions,
you can't emphasize how important. I mean, this. Yeah, I look at it. My nursing license, my real estate license is the same thing. I have to have my I's dotted, my T's crossed. Because if I don't know what I'm doing, number one, I have no business to be doing this. But it could cost me. It could cost the brokerage. It could cost my client.
Yeah,
agreed.
It's something that you never ideally want to cross, right? Because like the second question, fortunately, as opposed to the medical industry, if we mess up, hopefully nobody's going to die. That's one benefit. It's not a life or death situation, hopefully. But there can be a lot of other repercussions. So let's say, what are some of the errors? What are some of the repercussions that could possibly happen? We all know that we can get sued. Okay. That's the default. To what level we're going to get sued is kind of the question. It really, okay? And if we do our job right, and I hate to say it, and I don't want to scare anybody, but if you do your job right, it's probably, and you do your job well, okay? As in you're going to sell 500 homes in your career, hopefully. You're probably going to have a person that had something bad happen that's probably out of your control and is going to be mad and is probably going to try to come after people for whatever happened. If you did your job, you have nothing to worry about. And that is the beauty of it. If you save your emails, fill out the contracts properly, adhere to your timelines, make sure you're paying attention to your continuing ed, not doing silly things, you won't have. We've been threatened so many times, especially in property management over the last 10 years. I can't even tell you, right? And it's never happy. But I could always sleep soundly at night because I duplicate everything because I never want to have that fear, ever. When it came to continuing ed, an agent should take it seriously because it is your butt on the line, fundamentally. The brokerage is assuming your responsibility, but guess what? Any brokerage that finds any agent too much of a liability, bye-bye. They're going to go. You better be making enough money to offset the liability involved. Otherwise, it's not worth any brokerage to maintain anybody. And unfortunately, there's no way of dictating any agent when they come in. You know, how many of you guys walked into a job interview and was like, hey, I'm a lazy slob, I don't take showers, I cuss out my neighbor, and I very rarely show up on time? Is that ever going to work? No. You come in, I'm the best person ever. I work hard. I'm going to sell all these homes. I get along with everybody. Oh, I won this award, this award. We're going to be the best people ever. I'm going to make you $1 billion. That's your average person, right? And then they come in and reality sets in. And what the reality is, it's up to you guys. Ultimately, are you going to be the awesome agent? Are you going to be the bad agent? Are you going to be the one that's going to be risky and running? Over the years, have you seen? How many bad agents in the last 2 years have you encountered? Truly,
Can't even count them anymore.
And what would you equate that to?
I would say at least 30 or 40%, if not higher sometimes, of the people I've dealt with are doing things that put their clients and my client at risk. And it puts a lot of extra pressure because when you're dealing with them, that's one thing. But then you also run into them in the way they're presenting offers that maybe your clients never accepted, or they're out there doing stuff behind the scenes in the middle of a multiple offer counter, situation. It's really sad. My boyfriend has a philosophy. He said in any business, there's like the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people are 80% of them are substandard. 20% are the people you want to be doing business with, whatever it is. And of the 80%, he says probably 50% of that, maybe 60% of that is average people. It's not going to be anything that's going to blow anything up. And then the other section is kind of scary, and you should run away from it because people don't know what they don't know. I took a lot of risk management classes because I like law and I like that in the beginning. And I'm a big believer that if those classes aren't scaring you to worry whether you should stay in real estate, then maybe your head's not in the right game, because that's how serious some of this stuff is. And you're really taking on not only the financial aspect of it, but you could ruin somebody's life if you don't take care of something a certain way. And I take that to heart, and that's why I've got so much gray hair. But anyway, I think unfortunately I wish, and I don't know the answer because everybody's new, and I feel like all the newbies, all of us should pay it forward because I had people help me when I was new. But I still get very worried about the number of newbies going out there right now that have no idea what they're doing, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of like an apprentice type program, like even a plumber. If you're going to plunge a toilet as a plumber, you have to have so many hours of apprenticeship before you can do it on your own. And I just don't know why, and that's just my soapbox for today, why we don't have that for real estate.
New York, they require brokers.
Yeah.
You have to have certain, so they're in their very lawyery litigation, blah, 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 even more. I fully agree. And thank you. That was the perfect segue. Thank you. That was, I couldn't have given you a script and had you do any better, because that's exactly it. The brokerage. And this is where I've been the face of the brokerage, and that's been good. Once being small, it's wonderful. And I hope I set a decent example of what people are supposed to do. But we are a brokerage, and ultimately every agent is self-employed. And it is our job as a brokerage to make sure we have the best agents out there that are getting the training, that aren't that liability to the world. And that's why we are stepping up our game. We've had a few things pop up that have made that kind of reiterated the fact that we have to do what we have to do to make sure we're doing our part to benefit the real estate industry. Certain agents that do come into the brokerage don't necessarily need all the training because they do have enough experience and have the right foot. But we have to test those waters and those boundaries to make sure that they are, right? And so, yeah, Fred, sorry, by the way.
What I'm looking at is, a lot of people think that just because they attain their license, they know the business, and that's not true. The license only, and the Arizona Department of Real Estate will put you in tune with what to do and not to do. a lot of our new agents are not teachable. And if they're not teachable, they're not going to learn. You have to be teachable. I have never been in a brokerage that has as much training as Josh provides. I've been in quite a few brokerages and big ones, but they have not provided the training that Josh does. I did.
Breakthrough, not Josh. Breakthrough.
Well, yeah.
Breakthrough.
Yeah, but
No, breakthrough.
You drive it though.
No. That's kind of ruining what I'm trying to say. I am not breakthrough. I said that we have procedures, we have policies, we have ways of doing things, which I have instilled and started, but they are not me. And that's what I have to stress, because people are relying on me too much. And that's exactly my point. It is the agents who have to take responsibility for their education 100%. And Breakthrough has policies and procedures just as much as if you went to Remax, they're going to have policies and procedures. And if anything, because we're a smaller brokerage, I need to hold this even harder because it is my life on the line. And it is a smaller family that we have to protect. If I do something stupid and I don't take my training seriously, guess what? It'll affect you. If you don't do it, it's going to affect the rest of everybody, which can be good and bad. We can work together and we can help each other grow, and it can be awesome. At the same time, I think if we have Breakthrough's great education, our goal is to provide continuing ed once a month now for credit here at the office. We had 2 last month because it wasn't supposed to be right back to back, basically, but they rescheduled several times. But it was neat. And that last class, I learned so much. That MLS class was amazing. Seriously, I haven't had a class that neat.
Have you taken any classes with Brett Woolley?
That class.
No, and I wanted to go, but I already had my family event.
No, we're going to bring him back, definitely.
Because anyway.
And Breakthrough can be that for the agents. And I want that to be free because I want agents to come in and see what can happen, right? And because of that, let me just run down a list of, in the last month or two, some of the issues we've had. And the ADRE, okay? Pretend, don't look at the brokerage. You're the ADRE right now, okay? And think about what could have happened and what the repercussions might have been if things didn't work out the way they did, okay? There was one deal that was I think it was a house on one piece and then a piece of land, but the second parcel got mixed. Not only did it make it, sorry, my allergies, my nose is just itchy, you don't believe. One of the parcels got missed.
In the offer?
In the offer, in the escrow process, it actually closed. And it closed with only one parcel. Okay. Number one, after it closed, did the buyer have any leg to stand on?
Not really.
They bought a property with a number for X amount of money. Unfortunately, since there's only one parcel, that X amount of money was way too much. Could the seller have said no? I sold. That was it. Could the seller have done that technically?
Purchase contract not include the second?
It had one APN. One. No reference in additional comments. No nothing.
So the title company didn't know, right?
Why would they? They facilitate a contract.
Right. That's their
It's
instructions.
the agent's responsibility to have the facts.
Yep. Fortunately, it was a very, very honest, generous seller who was understanding and legitimately wanted to sell both properties and did the right thing. And they amended after the fact. I'm not sure if they did like a quick claim or whatever, just to get it right over. But it worked out okay.
Were there improvements on that parcel?
I don't know the details. All I know is that it was 2 properties and they bought one. And fortunately, the seller gave in. What could have happened?
Well, it could have been a nasty thing.
That is terrible.
It could have caused the buyer.
The agent could have been, that could have cost the agent hugely. And errors and omissions insurance would have gone in full effect. And just to make it very, very apparent, or just to make sure we're all clear, that we have errors and omissions to protect us. But if we're ever forced to use it, the agents are on the hook for 50% of whatever they're going to require out of pocket. Okay, so if we're going to need to use it, are you prepared to go halvesies?
Yeah. Not to mention
We will
what it
back you
means
to
in
the fullest
license.
extent of everything because you're our agent. But you got to be prepared to go halvesies in on whatever's going to be required because that's going to be, it's one of those things. And that's how kind of Randy did. He's like, I'm like, Randy, somebody's threatening me. He's like, are we protected? I'm like, we're as protected as can be. He's like, okay, are you willing to come to bat with me? And we're going to go in together. It's like, I got it. But that's the level of confidence because I knew they weren't going to win. I wasn't scared because I'm paranoid, and I know that I cover my tracks more than that's why we have to own our stuff.
Mhm.
There's a learning process, but that's why we have agents all around. We have a contract coordinator who, when you write your first contract, bounce it off of them. Hey, can you look at this? Bounce it off of several people. Don't just come to me. Come to the agents because they're the ones there with you. Work on partnerships. And then we have the contract coordinator. That's their job to make sure it's done properly, right? It's not just, oh, call Josh. That's a lot of weight for me to have 18 agents all calling me when we have a wonderful network, wonderful training, breakthrough breakout training. We have everything for everybody. So that was one example, okay? And that was one that if it wasn't for the seller being awesome, that would have gone a completely different direction. That one decision and them being great people made that not bad at all. Skimmed right over it, wasn't bad. Next, we had one agent who came on, never came to a training, never sold a home, never fulfilled one thing. He didn't even sign his ICAs. And this is where moving forward, breakthrough can't do that. If you don't sign your ICA, you're not part of us. And that's that. And finally had a sale, but policies changed, transactions changed, and he didn't know. And there was no reason for him to be under the information that he's under. And unfortunately, now this person wasted a lot of time and effort and is out even more money because he didn't come to training. Every time there's a contract change, we will have it here. Anytime there's anything agents need to know about anything, about the market, anything, it's our job to make sure we provide you that information so you can go out and protect the public and do your job and do it well, right? Currently, I can't make anything mandatory. It's a very, very fine line. Like even this mandatory meeting, I have to put in quotation marks because of that. I can't, if you guys would be employees and that crosses that boundary. And I have to be careful because I want to skirt that boundary because I want to give everybody as much breakthrough needs. Every agent needs as much help as they can possibly get.
But this is why you're doing the recording. I mean, there's no reason to not have access
Exactly.
to everything.
And that's where we are now doing everything we possibly can to ensure every agent has every tool, every asset, every bit of info that they need to move forward. But unfortunately, breakthrough can't have as much leeway as we've given. That's what I'm kind of boiling down to. Agents are going to have to step up just a little more. And this is where I'm telling you guys this, not because it's you. And that's the funny part. People who come to training, come to training. People who take their education seriously, take their education seriously. The ones who need the help are the ones who are probably not here at the moment. So just take that as consideration, okay? And I'm relying on you to spread the word, please. All right, because we should pride ourselves on being awesome agents. And so, okay, so the next one, the next one was a commission dispute. And under no circumstances is there any ambiguity. When you sign an ICA with how we train, with what we provide, there's no ambiguity. But this person literally joined on and then disappeared for 5 months, closed one home about a week before their license expired, and then disappeared. And then came out a year later saying that there was a commission issue. Everybody knows we have literally our split and our one fee, unless you're part of the team. Yeah. One split, one fee. That's it. And so there was no reason. But unfortunately, that person apparently went through a year of being unhappy, felt the need to go to court, and now they're going to have to front all that, because there was no issue, no ever. And it was so avoidable. Does that one make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They set themselves up. I don't know how to describe that one. I'm having a hard time still with that one. Let's see. What was a couple of the other ones here? The most recent one this week. and this has to come around weirdly. Advertisements, print advertisements. We have partners who will gladly help you. We have companies that will print stuff for you. We offer all kinds of advertising assistance. We have templates, logos, all kinds of stuff. In our Google Drive folder, we have every equal housing, MLS, realtor logo, you name it, varieties, even the new one. I mean, they're really neat. And we had an agent that put out a print ad with no guidance and had several things that were very bad on there that should have never been on there. And it actually got submitted by somebody, it appears by the public.
Oh, that's who filed the complaint?
It appears. The errors on this, we have several brand new agents from school. The moment they saw it, they cringed because it was, let me just throw out 2 words, okay? And cash award. Okay. No.
No.
Next, logos. When in doubt, put them on. Doesn't matter
And
if
you
it's
know
a
what
picture.
was so
Put a
cool?
logo on
'Cause
it just to be on the safe side.
3 weeks ago, we had the guy, Jimmy, come in about Facebook.
Yeah.
And right away, what you can or cannot do, and it was just very obvious,
Yep.
very blatant, very,
Was this
again.
done on Facebook?
No, this was actually done in
this
print.
was an actual handout.
And where was it being, or how was it?
I don't know. I don't know. I just
don't
got the
know.
letter from the ADRE with the complaints and how the brokerage has to make sure we have proper oversight. And that's the catch. If somebody talks to me about something and we say, don't do it, and they proceed to do it, that's one thing. It's another thing too, if somebody's doing an ad that is completely outside of everything we provide.
Yeah.
If you're using one of our title partners, our lender partners, any of the stuff that we have, that like our templates and stuff, they have the logos, they're certified, they're proper, we're good. I don't know who printed this for them. I don't know where they got this, and they didn't give it to me or the office for review prior. We have so many tools for flyers, for anything you guys need. And if it's anything outside, don't hesitate you need to get somebody's approval. Somebody who either has the eye, the experience, or one of us. That one was interesting, and that one was bad on several different levels. Let's see, timeline errors.
Not filling out, when you do the contracts, and I'm thinking you need to be ANO or the, type A.
Nope.
But it's like, if that's not to be filled out, NA, or to make sure you have the right dates, or that, the counter has been checked, or,
Nobody's going to be perfect. Everybody's going to miss an initial here, something there. That's fine. That's well within reason. But if we're missing entire sections of addendums, for example, if we're not even knowing what addendums mean are in general, and then there's another one too where listings, for example, if you have 20 listings, that is kind of tough to keep track of, changing dates, addendums, extending, whatever it might be. If you have one listing, for a broker to have to come in 3 or 4 times to update stuff and change stuff for you, that's too much. You're not taking responsibility for your listing. And we're stepping it up from here on out. We provide the training, we provide the recordings. We've invested a lot in creating and I would hope one of the better training programs available in our Breakthrough Breakout training. We're making a commitment to bring in one continuing ed person, like an actual continuing ed. I want by the end of the year, you can get your full continuing ed here at the office. That way there's no reason, there's no excuse. We are all taken care of. And that's what Breakthrough provides. And that's why we can recruit people too, because other places will charge $10, $20. We're going to do it because it's needed. And if people have to pay, there's a lot of broke agents out there who will never pay for a class, but they can benefit from them. And so we are going to be that group. So moving forward, if you have not taken our training class, and there are going to be in our brokerage, and I will speak to them directly if this applies to you, okay? So unless you hear specifically from me, it is going to be required of all of us, okay? Within the next 90 days, every agent has got to complete the breakthrough breakout training, okay? If anybody has more than 3 errors on any purchase contract or listing contract, they're going to be required to go back to contract classes. Okay, and hopefully we're going to be providing them here. Hopefully, all goes well. Life happens, and please take note of this because it's going to be official. The mandatory monthly meetings between here, online, and have them recorded. There's no reason anybody should miss them. Okay. So we're going to require, if you're not here or verified online, that you're allowed to miss 3 in a year. How many changes happen throughout the year?
So many. I mean, I don't know.
Consistently changing.
Yeah.
It's not a problem if you miss 1 or 2 meetings, but if you've missed 3 or 4 meetings in a row, you've just missed almost 6 months worth of market addendums, loan changes. I mean, Jiminy Christmas. And we're expected to be the professionals. So moving forward, if anybody's not going to make it to a meeting, we only have 1 mandatory meeting a month. Mandatory. If you're not going to make it, you do need to email somebody at the office. Not me necessarily, but whether it's Tatiana, me, actually one of us, I guess, somebody needs to know. Okay, and we will make arrangements because it is very important for agents to stay up on top of things.
Even Facebook just made some changes that now allow you to block somebody they had taken away, and then they brought it back just in the last couple of days.
Yeah. Let's see.
Josh, the breakout training, is there a suggested sequence of taking those courses?
I suggest taking them in order if possible. But they all, just like regular real estate training though, they all affect each other. So until the end, it's not going to all connect because one will, but you're better off starting off at one and going straight through. I tried to put them in the best order possible.
Are they numbered?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm finishing up 9 this week. Okay. So I understand that this is not going to appeal to everybody. And that's perfectly fine with me as far as breakthrough is concerned. We want agents who want to work and want to be professional. And I'll gladly have 15 agents if it means that they're all awesome, and performing and rocking. My goal was never to be 400 agents. I want to have a great group of people who work together who just are great realtors. And eventually I know that will grow. And if we have the best training available, provide the best benefits, and have the best support, then we will attract the best agents. So that leads to the final thing. And that means I do want to implement, we've gone back and forth about 9 times because there's no great way to do it. Implementing the mentor program, because there is huge value to, it's one thing to hear what you're supposed to do. It's another thing to go out there and have somebody walk you through doing open houses. It's the common sense things that will bite everybody. We had, I felt so bad. There was one agent that did open house, forgot to put the directionals on top. So just had a bunch of blank open house signs, not telling anybody to go anywhere. And so that's when we started putting the arrows on the signs too, so that way there was no question. But she wondered why nobody showed up. Well, think. It's those dumb things that will bite everybody, but you don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? And nobody can predict that. And I know I've probably made 1,000 phone calls saying one thing stupid, and it probably didn't dawn on me until months later. It's like, why was I saying that? And then it changed everything. You know what I mean? And we are all here together. So
I think we all learn by hands-on and repetition.
Yep. So here's my last question then, because the training, everybody has training, and they can take it on their own time in their own way. But if you go to HomeSmart, they have training. If you go to Realty One Group, they have training. You go, no matter where you're at, the brokerage has training. Okay. I happen to have a lot of faith in our training because it is really, really hands-on. And I want to continuously try to make it better and better and better. So I want that to be great. I wish I could provide classes here all the time, but I can't have it. But I need to make sure everybody has the right info. So I want to make sure we have regular classes. And so how does a brokerage start setting up all those little details, right? We have our weekly training, but then you should have new agent training. So is new agent training better off like on a Wednesday night? How do you coordinate? Because nobody wants to spend their life in the office as much as I'd like people to, but you guys need to be out there. So 2 questions. Number 1, new agent training and regular training. Okay. How should we offer it to best be utilized by agents? You see how many people are here, and this is a mandatory meeting. Okay. I would like to have the best process available because I wish you were feeling a little better because Kim taught AP history. Okay. Is anybody familiar with AP history?
Well, how many years ago?
It's a whole different ball game. You haven't been in school like that before. It's a close-knit group of students who have committed to doing something that they know is harder than anything, and they chose it. They know that they're not going to get credit at the end unless they work their tail off. They could get nothing, right? If they don't do good on that test.
Yeah. The whole point is to get college credit.
And you could potentially not, right?
Yeah, sadly, statistically, no, most won't.
There you go. But they are
It's such a
committing
hard
to how
test.
many hours of homework at the end of every night? 3 hours, 4 hours, easy?
Yeah, it's honestly worse than most college classes and high school sophomores and juniors are taking. So it's,
I will admit I started, but I bailed. It was too much for me. I thought I was down for that struggle, but I gave up after I think 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah, we
And-
lose about half the first couple weeks.
There
They
you
just
go.
look at the syllabus. I mean, you get like a 20-page college syllabus and you're a high school kid. Like, oh, okay.
Sounds a lot like real estate, doesn't it? Yeah, most of them are not going to succeed. Most of them will drop most will drop, but by not renewing. And even the people that renew, very few are actually going to get the full credit. Very
But you
few.
know what's interesting is that, yes, when you look at the whole picture, that's very overwhelming. But isn't it interesting then when you look at how it's actually broken down, and it's like it can be very workable, you know. But again, it takes the commitment, and you have to be consistent and follow through.
So, yes, sir.
Back to this breakthrough training.
Yep.
It's online. How do you know when we complete one of the courses? And is there reference material that we need to print out and work with the training?
We're finishing it in that way. Like session 1, we have a study guide. Session 2, several of them, it itself is the work you're doing. I'm guiding you through setting up a schedule. I'm guiding you through doing certain things. Like I'll say, grab your notebook and here's what we're doing, creating your stuff. So each one has things inside of it, but that's what we need to that's what we need to fine tune. We don't have like a direct sign off sheet, but that's what I want. I would like. So let me tie that back into the mentor program. Okay. For example, both of you guys have the heart. Your heart's there. You just don't have 5 or 6 sales under your belt yet. When it comes to diving in, all of you guys here have just done great jobs, and you're right where the mentor program should be. So right off the bat, most agents coming in, they're on a 70-30 split. Okay. And that provides leads, the signs, the website, the cards. I mean, that's what I think most new agents are going to come in wanting all that support. Okay. What would it take to make it worthwhile to, for example, go out and do an open house? What would it be worthwhile to take somebody under your wing, knowing that it may take a month or two to see if anything. That's the hard part about the mentor program. And I think that's why so many come and go, because there's no guarantees. And my thought right off the bat is taking 20%. So for example, a new agent, many brokerages have a different split for new agents, like 60-40 for the first 3 or so. And what if we structured something like that and then split it with you guys? So breakthrough would take the 80 or the 20%, and then the mentor would get the other 20%. And you would just have a set timeline. You're not going to be at their beck and call all the time, but for certain milestones and for certain times and things, a mentor would avail themselves.
Mhm.
Thoughts?
That's one way to do it. And I think it just depends on, how it works best for everybody that's going to take advantage of it. And how many people would it take advantage of it. Where John and I came from at West USA, they had a mentor program, and I did not participate in it at that stage. But what they did was you wrote a contract with a mentor who helped you with other things, like just helped you stay on track of any kind of training, helped you with your goals, helped you a certain amount of time per week.
Yeah.
That was the commitment. And in the contract, you worked with them over a period of a year or 3 deals, whatever came first.
That's what I was going to say.
And, I think there's ways you can probably tweak that one way or the other, because then there's that consistency if somebody wants to do the mentoring. I think each mentor had a variety of people that they were working with, along obviously with their own business. And I think each mentor could say how many students they wanted to, their mentees. Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure that's not the right word.
I think one year
My question is,
training.
it the same mentor with coach? Or just the same thing?
I think so. I think mentor and coach. Do brokerages use the word coach the same way as mentor or not? I mean, I think we had a coaching program, and it was a mentoring program like he's talking about, but we called it a coaching program.
Yeah, I think
think
mentor
same thing.
is more like a new
Yeah,
thing.
like-
Coaching can be on a continual
Yeah.
basis.
Well, and I had a
permanent.
coach from
Yeah.
Buffini and Company who was working with me for my business, and I paid them separately. So a mentor program to me is more where you have somebody who has the experience that can help you with it.
Yeah.
John and I do this very frequently for each other, and John's been in the business way more than me. But I feel like sometimes when we get stuck on a particular deal or situation, we'll kind of talk to each other and say, listen, if you help me through this, I'll give you this referral or something like that, because you have to realize everybody's time is worth something.
Right,
And
that's where you have to work on compensation.
correct, because I've had cases where, and I'm always willing to help. If anybody ever calls me and wants to bounce an idea off, I'm always willing to help. And I'm not going to sit there and say necessarily, okay, you got to pay me, 20% for this deal. I think it's just good to go through it. And if I don't know the answer, then I will go to somebody who does. But that's how I kind of learned. But I don't know. I don't know if there's a one size fits all to answer your question. I would recommend it's maybe more in that sort of timeline where you've got a year where you work with that person and you get your first 3 deals under your belt. And some people may be go-getters and they get their first 3 deals in a month or 2. And some people, it may take more than a year to get their first 3 deals.
Do you think it's, as a brokerage, do you think it's proper? Hey, come on in. Do you think it's proper for a brokerage to quote unquote require like a new agent, say fresh out of school, to go with a mentor for their first 3 deals? I know these are hurdles when I'm going to be recruiting new agents, but it's also that balance where I can't have the run of the mill, just let people, some of these mistakes and errors, should have been avoided. And it needs to come back to proper training, proper guidance, and proper oversight. And I want to make sure that the agents get as much as they can. But the key is, how do we make it worth your guys' while too? That's pretty much what kills most of them, because one agent might never make a sale. You can lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink, right? our goal is to teach as many. I'm going to combine so many cliches here. Our goal is to teach as many people to fish as possible, right? But not everybody's going to be up for that challenge. And so, if new agents, if we require three sales, and it'll be 60-40 to them. That's all they worry about. Okay, first 3 sales, 60-40. We'll split it with you, 20%, 20%. And then if they're not a referral, if somebody refers an agent, like anybody you bring in, you're going to get 5% for as long as they're here. You know, and the whole goal is eventually they will go to 100%, which makes less money for you, but it's still good because they're going to sell a lot more. So you're going to get the residuals. So if it's a free agent, I think that mentor should get that residual. It will go under that person, and then that gives you a vested interest for their success for the future, as long as they're with Breakthrough too. So 20% for the mentor, and then 5% given that no other agent brought them in. But if another agent brought them in, I think they should obviously have first right of the mentorship, obviously.
Yeah.
What does that sound like? What do you think?
Remember our last training? He taught us how to set up accounts for people to do their own searching. Now, in open houses, how many people, a well-advertised open house, you're going to get a lot of people through there, and one agent cannot keep up with all of them.
Yeah.
A mentor could be interfacing in that open house to set up those accounts for those people who are not working with an agent.
Yeah.
A great opportunity to get your new business.
Can't tell you how many times people have been at open houses and that house didn't fit, but since there were 2 people there, they went to the computer, found 2 other homes, and one person took off and showed homes while the other person was still at the open house, and then they flip-swapped.
Well, I thought that was a great idea, setting up those accounts for them to because then you're locked into it.
Yep. Yeah. And having the teamwork there, and by default, the mentor is going to get more leads and more stuff out of it too. So hopefully it's going to boost their business. Yeah.
It works for the person being mentored
and
learning how to do it.
And Breakthrough Breakout training will make sure that they keep them on task, and that will be part of it. It's like step 1, let's set up your business. Step 2, let's set up your marketing plan to start bringing people in. We're creating your grand open house for 2 weeks. Let's start doing that together, doing all the advertisements, making sure your database is all uploaded. I mean, by session 5, you've got your templates, you've got everything, and you're rocking.
That's a hands-on that's needed.
Absolutely.
I think it's worth a try.
No, I agree with Charlotte. I think you should just put it in place. Sadly, the rules that get made anywhere are for the rule followers. There's always going to be the people on the fringe that aren't the rule followers. But I think if you also instill something easy peasy, even if you're a new agent and you've come over from another brokerage, because you don't know, people talk the talk and you don't know if their actions match their talk. So I think if you're looking to have some sort of consistency or whatever, an expectation and showing that you're managing it, I think that first year you're working with the brokerage, everyone should be required to run any kind of advertisement past someone who has oversight and can say, yes, this is good, or no, this is not, before they get anything. And then if they don't, I mean, I hate to do this, but West USA is a big brokerage, and we were responsible to pay fines if we didn't do certain things. And until they did it, and it wasn't a popular decision, but until they did it, they continued to have the problem. And the one problem was we would have, if we were late putting anything up in our document, like in paperless, we didn't have paperless. We had a different proprietary system. Paperless is so much better. But anyway, if we were held to a standard and we got one get out of jail free card a year for putting something in late, because too many people were putting documents in late. And so they had a big company-wide meeting and said, by this date, this is when this is going to happen. And anybody that has late. And so you ran in fear of, and it wasn't horrible, but every late could be $100. You didn't do it anymore.
Wow.
So I'm just saying, like,
that's accountability.
Well, it's totally, and people are going to hate me for saying that, but you guys, it keeps the people from doing it. Like, if you're going to do an ad and you're not going to get it signed off by whoever the managing broker is to deal with that stuff, you run the ad, I'm sorry, there should be accountability for it because it screws all of us up.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, if something happens to the brokerage that we all work for, what are we going to do? It affects all of us, you know? So I think there's like some sort of peer pressure. I hate to be that way.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I'm trying to take it off of Josh. Moving forward, I'm the designated broker. That's that simple. Just like every freaking brokerage here has a designated broker. It is the brokerage that has policies. And it's those policies that you're either, as an agent that's signed on to that brokerage, those are what you're really signing on for. And you're either going to like them or hate them. And I hate to say it, I hope you'll love ours because we're trying to be the best brokerage we can absolutely be. And I think we provide more than almost everybody out there. But it's not all honky-dory because there is accountability involved.
I think most of us desire to do it right and be profitable. But the problem is we don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. And that's why we're going to have the training that's required. And it's not Josh arbitrarily getting mad and putting a fine on anybody. It's these are the policies. This is what's required. If you adhere to them, your life's going to be wonderful. If you don't, you will be in trouble because this is how this works. Yeah. Nobody's mad at you. This is just how this works. If you do your paperwork on time, no fees. If you don't, there might be fees. I like that idea.
If you speed on the highway, you're going to get a ticket, right?
Yeah. And you're running that risk. It's up to you. Don't blame the cop. It's the law that got broken, you know? It's the arbitrary factor that gets you pissed off at the cop because he chose to get mad at me. That's what gets people walking on eggshells and stuff. And I don't want that. I am the broker. Unfortunately, it's my job to be that paranoid a-hole. That's my job. And if the more on track we are, the less paranoid and the less a-hole I am. You know, and then that's that.
Confidence is built on knowledge of what we learn.
Yeah.
That's where you get your confidence.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I agree with Fred.
All right. So moving forward, let's give it a try. Okay. If we're in favor of kind of the complete package, 90 days. Anybody who is on track on the team, for example, if you have had your 2 sales per month and you've been on track and we haven't had any issues, you guys are fine. Any new agents, anybody who has not had at least 1 or 2 sales a month consistently is going to be required to do those 90 days.
Sure.
And so that basically means just about everybody in the brokerage. But on top of that, we're going to start doing the mentor program. So anybody that's interested, please let me know because I want to make sure we have the best people. And honestly, the people who are here today would be the ones I would have probably chosen right off the bat. To begin with.
Are these 2 ladies experienced?
Yes, that's why I'm closing it to get up to them. And so we're going to try the mentor. And I think that let's give it a try. If that works for you guys, you'll get the 5% and then we'll do the 20%. But so for a new agent fresh out of school, it's going to be 60-40 for their first 3 sales or whatever it breaks down to. I don't think it should be timeline wise. I think there needs to be a timeline for it, but I don't think
be a year. I think it needs.
Well, I think the way they did it was like
but
a year.
If they go a year and don't sell 3 homes, that's a whole other issue.
Right.
But I think a minimum or whatever, and we, like anything, it might have to be tweaked and stuff, and everybody's situation could be unique too.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. All right, and then more than 3 issues on a particular contract will. That'll warrant the contract coordinators will rain down on people at that point in time. Okay. That's standard. And I think that's basically the hard part for today. Is any questions? Everybody on the good
You're
base?
So mean, John.
I am. I'm hard. All right. So we finally get to hear about this elusive new title company.
Yay,
All right. All
Hi,
right.
guys. Okay, so I just wanted to introduce Janine today. She's going to be your point of contact for escrow now. And I actually worked with her in the past at Fidelity, and now she's over at North American with me. So she wants to earn your escrow business. And can you tell a little bit about
Well, my name is Janine. It's funny because I was thinking yesterday, I should probably come up with something interesting or funny, like how long I've been in business. And that year, there was a lot of really horrible things that happened.
That you guys.
So I'm like, yeah, so I'm like, I'm not gonna bring those up, but to make it relevant, I started back when the average price of a home was $136,000.
Remember that?
Which wasn't too far, you know, for some of us.
Right.
But rent at that time I think was $7.15 on average. Gas was $1.46 a gallon.
Yeah.
And
Is it $3
stamps
now?
were 34 cents.
You were 5 years old.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was 5 years old. She just said she had a 14-year-old. I'm like, you do?
And a 22-year-old too.
Oh, okay.
So I'm an Arizona native. I've been in escrow for 18 years. Mainly on the west side, but we do have a lot of clients all around the valley. We're calling, just like everyone else, you know, with signings at our different locations and things like that. So I always let people know that I always want to be the one that is the least stressful part of your job. By the time you guys get to your contract, it's how many homes have you seen?
Right.
You know, how many offers have you put in? So I just want to be the one that's the least resistance in all of that. So we'll just give this a try and we'll see how it goes.
We did come up with a plan because her office is a little further than you guys. Like you just use the Gilbert office and now we're putting you out there. But if we can't find an office around the valley that your clients can go to and courtesy sign, we will eat the signing fee.
Oh.
Okay, so then they won't have to pay for it.
Where's your office?
It's on the other side of
It's Goldhammer, and I don't know who you guys
That's
are.
okay. I'm actually on Goodyear.
Okay.
And we're
Yeah.
North American Title. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I already talked to everybody. I'm like, oh my God, so sorry. And I've worked with Breakthrough for about 1.5 years now, and I just switched over from Great American. So now I'm with North American, and Janine's office is in Goodyear.
And
Yeah.
this
It's
is
a good year.
Dina Cato.
And my name is Dina, and I am the marketing rep. So anything you need on the marketing side, we're good to go. As for you 3 ladies, I forgot to tell you, you know how I was all excited about my new app and I was signing you
Yeah,
up for
we
it?
wanted to share.
Yeah, guess what?
We
So
didn't
I
get
signed
it.
you up wrong because I was so excited I didn't learn my own job. So I'm gonna set a time that we can all get together and do it again.
Okay.
Maybe next month's meeting, or if you guys want to come in, you know, sometime during the week, sometime I will come out. I'll show Janine how to utilize it too, in case you have any questions. But I'm all set and I'm all learned up.
Good girl.
Can you
But-
tell me where your other
Oh, we have
She's in
a-
Scottsdale, so that's where she's
We
at.
have a Kierland branch, we have a Biltmore branch, we have Gilbert, we have Baywood, we have a Denby, we have an Arrowhead.
But do your
all
spiel again, because I didn't realize just how big you guys really are.
Yeah, so North American Title is actually nationwide. We're in 28 states, I believe. And we're actually one of the #1 title underwriter that nobody, we have the
Oh.
So
most.
you are a full title
Yes.
company, not an agency.
We are an underwriter. So Janine, who do we write on? We write on other people's paper as well, but we also have our own North American Title paper that we underwrite with. So that's huge. What other ones do we
Old
have?
Republic, Fidelity, and
Those are
Chicago?
agencies, right?
yeah, those are the underwriters.
Those are the underwriters. They're not agencies
Yeah, like Fidelity is.
Fidelity is
security
the
and all of
umbrella.
them. Yeah.
of most of them. They own lawyers, security, Grand Canyon, Stewart, and Chicago. So all those people are under the Fidelity umbrella. So then you have your other underwriters, where it's North American, and then you have Old Republic and First American. So yeah, so we're actually quite a big company, and I believe we can close escrows in Mexico now. I'm pretty positive. Yep. But yeah, I mean, we've been around for a while. We're a little bit smaller in Maricopa County. Smaller meaning we do $1 million of revenue a month, but compared to the other cities, they're a little bit bigger of a market there, and we're kind of, but we're top dog when it comes to dollars that we have in case of title discrepancies or title issues or anything on title. we're right up there with everybody. But yeah, anything else? But we have 9 offices. So like I said, wherever you guys need to sign, Janine will find an office, and if she can't find an office, we'll eat the signing fee and you know, give that to your client list.
When you provide us this app, is it to your web page?
This app is actually a walking farm app. So it's a property profile app. It's a walking farm app. So say you want to do that door knocking in a neighborhood, you can take your app and you can walk door to door. And each door that you're in front of, the app will tell you whether or not it's a renter or an owner, and let you know their name so you know what to say when you walk up to the door. It'll give you.
Are you taking that information off the public record?
Everything is off of public record, but it's a very unique app, and you can pull all the farming stuff for your clients if they want a listing kit. You can pull it right off of the app and email it to them. There's phone numbers on there. There's neighbors, all this good stuff. But it's I've learned it now, so now I can teach it to you guys.
And you say that we have to come to you to get that app on?
Yeah. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'll set something up with all of the agents and go do an overview training for it.
Okay, that'd be wonderful.
Yes.
Do you have cards with you and stuff?
Yes, Janine has the cards. And if you guys, I don't know, a lot of agents like to have the rate manual for, the escrow fees and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that you would like, if you
Can I have a
know how to
few?
do it, but Janine can send it to you over email as well. And I believe, Helen, you met Sonia.
Yes.
So Sonia is in Janine's office. Janine is the branch manager, and Sonia is the escrow officer that you met with.
Okay.
Yes. So,
40 better.
so if you guys have any escrow questions on the escrow side, please let Janine know. And then,
Oh, I
and yeah,
love
I'll
that she's
set up a
in good
meeting
here.
for sometime soon.
I know it helps us on the
and,
west side
it's an
there,
app
but
for
I
you
was
guys.
gonna say,
That's
they
fine.
have one over in Gilbert, so that'll help you.
Anything else? I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you guys have a meeting to do.
Thank you,
Are there
thank you.
discounts for multiple transactions?
Investor rates, if you have a client that is an investor, we have investor rates. We have teachers, we have first responders, veterans,
We
and
have that for
investors.
now.
For now, and I think that's going away.
No.
It's the statewide. It's
Yeah,
not
the
just
state's
one title
requiring
company.
everybody to do it away.
Oh, that's
So
a shame.
investor rate?
Just the investor rate?
Just no,
Or
I think
all the
it's-
rates?
Yeah, I think it's all of them. There might be a
That's a
couple that are
shame.
leaving, but we're not sure exactly.
So is that just a
Yeah.
discount on the escrow fees or the title?
Escrow fees, it's always.
As a seller, it's escrow
Yeah.
and owner's policy, but as a buyer, it's just the escrow fee.
So yeah,
That's
we'll
interesting.
see how that,
Do you want me to
happens.
call and see how we can schedule?
yeah,
if you don't
what's the
mind?
best day for you? Kim, when are you usually here every day? Or how often are you here? Just end of month
Usually
meeting?
Wednesday through Friday or Saturday.
Okay. Let's do it as soon as possible, whenever you guys want to. Just let me know.
Okay,
Tell me the date and we'll be here. You can come with me.
okay.
Perfect.
I will then email you ladies.
Yes,
All right.
let me know. I would
Okay.
love to. All right, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
meeting.
you.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
As well.
Cool. Okay. So to reiterate all the new people that we have, because certain people are not quite getting used as often as they can be or to benefit. For example, Kathy, for example, any of your documentation, so she's the contract coordinator. And so for a flat fee per closing, she'll order your inspection, she'll order your home warranty, she will make sure that all your paperwork are filled out. She'll be your contact for title, back and forth. It's a really, really good service, okay? Rovi. All of us, if we're truly, truly honest, are not following up with everybody we could and should be, if we're truly, truly honest. Whether it's the phone calls, the emails, the text messages, the pop-bys, somebody somewhere is probably falling through. Or if you are on top of it, you might need to add more, right? And that's where Rovi comes in. If you aren't out on appointments and stuff, well, let me rephrase that. Even if you're out on appointments, you can still have phone calls and stuff being made on your behalf. If you did an open house this weekend and you're going to be out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday doing another open house or taking people out, Rovi can be following up with your people for you, making all your calls. She could set up drip campaigns for you. She has scripts she's worked with Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, Brian Buffini, and somebody else.
So she can do the drip campaign?
Well, she has her drip campaigns that she sends on your behalf.
Okay.
She has her method to convert. That's her whole job. If you're not converting, like let's say you have 100 leads and you're not converting at least 5% of them, hand them to her because she will. That's her whole job, and that's what we are working constantly on, how to make her convert even higher. And so Rovi is incredible. So Kathy, contract coordinating Rovi when it comes to any of your leads and even our leads. If you want more, we can break you off a bunch. We have, for example, Monsoon. If you're farming, we can give you the farm area and all the contact info from your email, phone numbers, and cell phone numbers for your farm,
Cool. Yeah.
and you can start using those. If you want to start recruiting people to management, we can give you a list of everybody that has vacation homes or whatever and start following through on that. We have no shortages of leads. Tell us what you need, what you want to accomplish. We will help you do it. And the goal would be that we will max out exactly what you need, so you're making as many sales. And if you want to take it to where you need more, we can help you do that. So to go along with all that, you have Bill. Bill will help you take advantage of the details. For example, Real Geeks. If you aren't familiar with Facebook and don't have your thing set up, he can help you with that. If you're not set up so it's keeping track of all the emails and text messages you're sending, he can help you with that. Any of the random details, putting two programs together to work properly, or if you think you're missing something, Bill is the tech guy. On top of that, if you forget any of your information or backup stuff or whatever it might be, Bill's your guy. So we have the complete tech support where not only if something's broken, but if you don't think you're maximizing what is available, call him. He will help you maximize what's available. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So not just when things are broken, right? Okay, so then we have a couple changes which you probably recognize up front going to be taking place. We have Bianca, who is she will be our new full-time property management supervisor. Daryl did a great job, and Daryl was kind enough to step in when he was really, really needed. Not everybody's meant for property management. It requires a certain
Personality.
I don't want to say anything because Daryl was so great. It's not bad. That's actually a good thing. It's a good thing he couldn't cut it because he's such a nice guy and he's such a wonderful person helping people. And that is why it got to him, because he cares. You know, you have to have that certain level of detachment when dealing with management, you know, so you can go to sleep at night so it doesn't affect you, you know, different things like that. The average person burns out of management within 4 to 5 years, right?
Dad did it for 10.
Dad did it for 10. Daryl filled a spot that was needed. We hoped he might love it and run with it. Wasn't necessarily expecting him to, okay? Which was perfect because we found Bianca. Bianca has history. Thank you, Helen. Bianca was referred to us from Helen. You guys have known each other 20 some odd years?
16,
Around 16 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go back. And she has worked with multi-unit management and has been in charge of hundreds of units at any point in time. And she has taken them from point A to point B where they need to be. She has the systems in place, the experience to bring those systems to us and to help us be the management company we need to be able to grow like we want to. We want to be the best agents on this side and be the best management company on this side. That's the goal.
Did she already start?
She's
Sort of, kind of.
She's training this week.
She's
She's getting a head start. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when will she start, like,
2
talking
weeks?
with
In,
clients?
Yeah.
in about 3 to 4 weeks, we want to give her as much head start as possible to start implementing the systems and the paperwork. She's coming from she's worked at 3 of the biggest property management companies in the valley. And she's setting us up the way we need to be set up to handle things. So for the next 3 to 4 weeks, she's going to be doing a lot of background stuff, and then probably July would be when she's going to be. We're going to make the full-time announcement that this is going to be.
Okay. Do property management contracts have to change at all to say that Daryl's no longer no?
Nope. It's still the same property management company.
Right.
It's just a different supervisor manager.
Okay. All right.
Exactly. And hopefully this is why we wanted to make sure that before we do this, we want to make sure it's right. We don't want to make any more changes concerning any of the owners. Or anything
Right.
like that.
So before we announce to the owners, we have a chance to talk to our owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't want to spin it any way we need to.
Yeah.
I just
No,
want to
this
make
is
sure.
And
they
once you talk
understand.
to her, I'm sure you're going to feel,
Yeah.
you're going to have all the
No, I'm
confidence in
sure
the world,
she's
which is
great.
what we want to give our owners.
Yeah.
She knows that $50 per month expense will make or break at the end of the year. You know, that having a 4% vacancy rate is the goal. If you're performing here, let's raise rents to here if possible. You know, she has just talk to her. You'll love her. She was all about trying to put together a checklist this morning.
Good. I like checklists.
So it's great. Yeah.
Is Bill on staff? Is he on retainer? How do we associate with Bill?
He's kind of more like on retainer. We have him up to 10 hours a month right off the bat, and then if we need to go above, then he comes back and we talk about it.
And we as agents, when we use him, are we paying him a fee?
Nope, up to 10 hours per month. Breakthrough's paying for you guys to get whatever
But
you
you
need.
only get him for 1 hour. You have all 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
10?
He turns in his little checklist about who's called for how many hours or whatever. No, use him what you need. And if he reaches that 10 hours, he'll let us know.
And
Have you
speaking
passed on
of,
contact information for him?
I'm putting together a video that has the intro for Kathy, for Roby, for him. If you don't have his phone number, Bill at brepham.com. Hey, this is Bianca. Just introduced you to everybody.
Hi.
this is Fred.
Yeah, we've already met her, yeah.
I already met him.
She's
And then
Howard's
I think you
Yes.
know the rest of
Yeah.
We just wanted to say hi and
Aw,
welcome.
Thank you. We'll see you. Bye.
Thanks.
What?
Go back to work.
So if you don't have his phone number, let me holler it out again here really fast. So funny, I didn't have him saved this morning again. I thought he did. Oh, terrible. All right, here we go. Bill Pike. His phone number is area code 520-481-4856.
Can you just repeat that?
Yep. Area code 520-481-4856.
And it's Bill
Pike.
Yeah, he teaches computers, basic computers at U of A, and actually bigger computers too. But awesome guy. Okay, so as we start making these changes, that means Tatiana is officially going to be free to move into more of the office manager position, which will really allow us to fine tune our systems for hiring, helping out with training, and everything like that. And so if we bring in the kind of mentor program, I think we're going to need, I would like one more person. And I think that's going to be the final piece to our office puzzle. And that's more of like the liaison for the agents and for everything we want to take place. Number one, having a system for bringing in new agents. And if we have 2 or 3 new agents per month going through the process, having the class like Tuesdays, Thursday nights available. I would love to do like a book of the month club meeting, whatever, having like a bowling team. There's lots of awesome things like coordinating the continuing ed per month. That takes effort, follow-up, organization, and making sure that's taken care of. When a new agent comes in, I want that to be completely smooth. Like, okay, the cards are ordered, the website, let's put you in contact with Bill. Making sure that by the time you're done or the new agent's done, that they are completely set up and know exactly where they're going with who mentor or whatever it is. That will make or break so many agents when they come in. I want them to get the best feel possible. So having that that final position where Tatiana is going to be like the office manager, but we have the property manager, and then we have like the kind of
assistant.
yeah, and the client appreciation event. I wanted to do one for 10 years now, and we're running out of time for this. So I hope I can find somebody who can do it or wants to take this on. This is just a cool role where they're sending out the emails to everybody, making sure that the marketing's in place for the agents, the tenants, the property management, our current agents, knowing that we had our meeting this month. I think we only sent out one email reminding people, and that wasn't enough. And that's that position. I can't do it as much as I wish I could have. And fulfilling everything. Every September, towards the end of September, I would love to have a client appreciation event where it's every one of our past clients that we invite out, and we have like Frankie there with his briskets, smoking everything, and have like bouncy house, and then put on like a movie at a park for everybody. It's very affordable for the most part. It's easy to do, and that would carry the brokerage for like a whole year, with the agents and their clients, and just bringing just a happy experience. I've always wanted to do that. There's no reason why we can't. And if you knew every year in September we were going to do it, would you invite your clients to come out?
Sure.
Absolutely. And would that not be?
Yeah.
I think that would just be neat. And we could rent out and put on a movie. It's very affordable. And there's a guy that does all the popcorn and stuff. It's very affordable. And then Frankie could do the brisket meals for like $5 a piece on a scale like that. And we can put it on for all of our clients. And I think that would be something for Breakthrough. Seriously, what do you guys?
I know how important this has been. It's like,
yeah. And that's that position, making sure that all the relations are great. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, if you keep continuity with your past clients, they will have some referrals for you.
Absolutely. Well, and having that event, and you see all your past clients, and you're just there celebrating them, not selling them, just celebrating them. That's it.
Yeah.
That's going to go further than anything, So, all right. So as we kind of finish up, let everybody know. That's the hardest thing. I'm trying to let people know that we do have the contract coordinator. What's it for? The ISA. That bill's available, So it's hard since we don't see each other on a regular basis. So whenever you're talking to other agents and stuff, remind them to take advantage of these tools that we have. So lastly, we are going to. Has anybody heard of Kevin Ward?
yes.
I'm sorry.
My phone was a little slow. Can you give me that Bill's number?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So,
It's 520
520
481
481
4856.
see that I threw my voice out here.
So, have you heard of Kevin Ward?
No.
You're gonna kind of like
Actually,
him.
no, it was on one of your things.
What was
I
his-
probably
what was
used him
his
before.
for?
He's Yes Masters. He's the yes
Okay,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's very similar to Brian Buffini in his relationships type thing. I really, really like him. And this kind of coincides. So yeah, check out this video.
What is the one thing that hurts the most as a real estate agent?
Oh, I love those eyes.
Hi, my name is Kevin Ward. I'm the founder of Yes Masters Real Estate Success Training, helping you get more yeses and more successes in your business and in your life. I'm also the author of the #1 best-selling book, The Book of Yes, the Ultimate Real Estate Agent Conversation Guide. And I was just thinking about it. What hurts the most in real estate? And I used to think when I first started, my biggest fear in real estate was getting somebody to slam the door in my face or hang up on me. It was that fear of getting rejected. And maybe for some people, but you know what hurts the most? What hurts the most is when you find out that somebody that you know very well used someone else instead of you for a real estate transaction, right? When you find out there's a friend or a family member or even a past client and you thought they loved you, you thought you had a great relationship and they trust you, yet all of a sudden you find out they listed their house with someone else. Are you kidding me? And it just makes you want to, call off the day. It's so brutally painful. So my question is, and what I want to talk about today is why do agents not get more repeat and referral business? So why do they not do it? Because the National Association of Realtors, every time they do this survey of buyers and sellers, when they ask buyers and sellers, will you use your real estate agent next time? Will you use them again? And every time when they do that, the results are between 75 on the low end and 88% on the high end of buyers and sellers say, yeah, I'm going to use my same agent again. And yet, the reality is that less than 15% of buyers and sellers actually end up using the same real estate agent again when they move again. They just don't do it. 80% or more say they will, and only 15% or less actually do. Where's the disconnect? Where's that gap? Why don't we get more business from the people that know us? And I know the answer. I'm going to tell you the answer today. I'm going to let you know that it's going to be painful. And here's what it is. It's your fault. It's our fault as real estate agents. That the reason that they don't give us more business is because we're afraid. That's why. That's why you don't get more business from your friends, from your family, from your past clients, from people that know you. Is because you're afraid. What are you afraid of? Well, there's 4 different things that we can be afraid of that I've seen and that are very, very common. One is because we're afraid of bugging people. We don't want to be annoying. I don't want to every time I talk to them, I don't want to think it's always about real estate and I'm always asking them for business. I don't want to sound like I don't want to be bugging them. Number 2, I don't want to sound desperate. I don't want to sound like I'm begging them for business. We don't want to be begging and we don't want to be bugging. I don't want to sound like I'm desperate, like I need the business. Another reason is because we're afraid of rejection. We're afraid that they may use someone else. And so if I don't say anything about it, then if they do use someone else, it doesn't hurt so bad. I'm still mad, I'm still hurt, but it doesn't hurt as bad as if I had really put myself out there. So we don't put ourselves out there because we don't want to get that sense of rejection, that we're afraid they may not trust us. They may go like, well, yeah, but you're pretty new, right? See, we don't want to hear that. We're afraid, and so we don't say anything. We're like, and how many times have you heard an agent say this, or maybe you thought it or said it yourself, and that is, well, I'm going to go out and prove myself, and once I get successful, then I'm going to ask my friends and family for business. Really? It's the best source of business, and we're not going to get it until we get other business. That's the hardest to get. Kind of a little self-defeating, but I get it. I totally understand it. It's just wrong thinking. And then the 4th reason that we're afraid is we're afraid of failing. And that is, what if they do use me or they do refer me to someone and I fail? What if they refer me to their neighbor and I list the house and it doesn't sell? Oh my gosh, then I'm going to look really bad. Then I'm going to be guilty. Then they're going to be mad at me. And we're afraid of failing. And those 4 fears are what keep most real estate agents, new and seasoned, from asking the people that they know for business. What's the solution? I want to talk about, how do you solve that? How do we get over this thing of missing deals? I mean, don't you want to stop doing that? Do you want to stop missing the deals? They should be the gimmies. They should be the slam dunks. This is the business from people that already know you. They mostly like you and they already trust you for the most part. How do you stop missing those deals and start getting the tens of thousands of dollars, the hundreds of thousands of dollars in business that you may be missing right now because of your fear? So here's how you do it. There's three steps. Number 1 is get very, 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 very good at what you do. That'll take care of the fear. Like, what if I fail? If you're the best in the world at what you do, why in the world would you be afraid of telling your friends, right? The reason we're afraid is because we don't think we're any good. And when we're brand new, you may not be that good. So what do? You got to get good. You got to make a commitment to stop being an amateur and go pro, to become great at what you do. Great at what? Great at getting a result. Now, I'm going to tell you, a lot of people, a lot of agents get all caught up in, I want to be the best at branding myself. I want to be the best at marketing. Nobody cares about any of that. Sellers and buyers, they don't care about any of that. Here's what they care about. Can you get me the best result? That's all they care about. When you get great at getting the best result, for example, if you can say honestly with integrity, is I sell every listing I take for top dollar, period. That's all I do. What are you going to do different than all the other agents? I'm going to get your house sold for top dollar. That's what I do, guaranteed, every time. Learn how to do that, and you're powerful. Get powerful, and you're confident. Get confident, you're going to have no problem asking your friends, family, or business. Number one, because you know what you're doing. So if you want to get over the fear, you got to get good. Well, how do I do that? Commit. Just commit. I'm going to become the best in my market at what I do. I don't care if you want to be number one, the biggest. I don't care about that. What I care about is, are you going to be the best agent for your friends and family and the people they know? Are you going to be the best agent for them to get the best result? And if you are, why would they want to use anyone else? Why would you be afraid to ask them if you know you're the best? Number two is, so number one, get very good at what you do. Number two, believe in what you're doing. Believe in what you're doing. Believe in your position as a real estate professional. Believe that it has value. Believe that it matters. In other words, if you're the best at what you do, and you believe in what you do, that real estate agency really matters, that I can help people get a better result than they can get on their own, or than they could get if they went with an amateur agent. Then I look at it as this: if I don't put the word out there to my friends and the people I know, and ask them to put the word out there and tell me when they know someone looking to buy or sell, I don't want that person, my brother's neighbor, when they get ready to sell their house, I don't want them to get stuck with an amateur agent. I don't want them to get stuck with somebody that they know from church or from school or from work that's part-time and isn't that good. I don't want them to get, I want to help them have a great experience and get a great result. So it's my responsibility to get the word out. Why would you, look, oh, this gets me. I've heard this, and I heard this recently, as somebody just goes, you know what, I just don't do any I don't do any business with friends and family. I just don't do it because it's just too personal, it's too emotional, and I just don't do it. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So that means that the people that you care the most about, the people that you have a relationship with, the people that matter to you in your world, you don't want to help them because why? Oh, it's too personal. Look, so are you okay if they go out and get stuck with an amateur agent? Now, the only reason you would be okay with it is if you're an amateur. Sorry to tell you this, and I told you at the beginning, you're not going to like this. Some of this is going to be painful. If you are the best at what you do, then you have a responsibility to protect them from agents that don't know what they're doing. And you know what I'm talking about. You know there's a lot of agents out there that are incompetent. They're self-serving. They're just in it for a commission check. They're part-time. They don't have a clue what they're doing. They only sell 2 homes a year. And they are dangerous to a client because they're not representing the client. They're just trying to get a deal and get a commission check. And I believe your responsibility is to protect anybody that matters to you. You got to protect them from those kind of amateur, unscrupulous, unethical, untrained, incompetent real estate agents. So first, it's incumbent upon you not to be one of those agents. And second, it's incumbent upon you to believe that what you're doing matters and that you owe it to the people you care about to protect them and serve their best interests, which means let them know. And ask them, who do you know? And then third, here's the third solution. Once I get it, once I'm great at what I do, and once I believe in the value of what I do and that it matters, is number 3 is expect that the people that you know will want to refer people to you. They'll want to use you. Why? Number 1, because they like you. Here's what's crazy, and this is the one thing that I coach real estate agents on this all the time, and I have a coaching program called the 100-Day List Master Challenge. And one of the things we do is I require them to put the word out and ask everyone they know for business. And they'll freak out over that. Like, oh, I haven't talked to them in 10 years. I've been a real estate agent for 15 years. I haven't talked to them in 10 years. They may not even remember me. And then what happens is crazy. When they actually start calling them and start talking to them, they go like, I can't believe how excited people were to hear from me. I thought they'd be mad at me. They haven't been waiting for you to call. They're excited to hear from you. And if they like you, and most of the time they do, they're excited to help you. It's crazy. Why do we have this fear? Why do we have this? It's an irrational fear. It is a limiting belief that we have, that this story we create, that they're going to be upset at me because I haven't been talking to them regularly. Because I haven't talked to them since, I helped them buy a house 4 years ago, and I haven't talked to them since. They haven't been expecting you to call. They didn't know that was your job, right? So when you actually contact them and say, hey, how's it going? I've been thinking about you. Just wanted to reach out to see how things are going. Things are going great. Great. Well, listen, I need your help. Do you have a quick minute? And then ask, who do you know? So get a buyer, seller, investor in real estate that I can help. It's a straightforward conversation. And when you're great at what you do, when you believe that what you do matters, and you expect people that know you to want to help you, it's a beautiful thing. And they not only do they want to help you, but they want you to help the people they care about, because they know that you'll take great care of them. Get out of this cycle of being afraid to ask for business, especially from the people that you know. Play to win and always expect yes. Last thing, you got to ask. And when you ask, you're going to get the yeses you want.
Amen, amen.
Yeah. Cool. So, let me get out of this. Yeah. How many of us can honestly say we're asking as often and are following up like we should with all the people?
Always do better.
Yeah.
I think you're doing okay, but you can always do
Yesterday,
better.
I even asked a fence post.
It's awesome.
So,
I love that.
yeah, so that leads to the next thing. Part of the events and things I want to hold, I just want different things being held at all times. They can pick and choose. They don't always have to be here. Like an agent to tackle what I want to start calling the get out of our shell events, right? So one get out of your shell event, we're going to make all calls for our database today. Or a get out of our shell event, we're going to door knock this neighborhood. Or get out of our shell event, we're going to put up a thing in front of this supermarket or whatever and talk to people. Whatever these events are, I think we should be holding them regularly and helping each other get out of it, because it's way better to do it by yourself. One person with
way better to do it by yourself.
Way better not to do it by yourself.
Okay.
Sorry, with people. How do you, when you're by yourself somewhere, going to anywhere, not many people are walk into a room and just own it, right? But if you have 6 people around you, you guys are doing your thing, and it gives you more confidence, and you're a louder, bigger version of yourself. Does that make sense? And how can we get that in our business? Very rarely, if you're by yourself at home, are you going to be like, yeah, let's go, But if we're here, and that's what I want to try to help, because even here in the office, we're still and I can't let it just be me, but I need you guys to know that you can be you too. Come in, be loud, bring your music, bring your snacks, whatever it is that we need to rock our day. Right? And so part of that is be on the lookout. I know I have several people I'm talking to that I would love to be put in this position to be that liaison, to set up these events, to invite people, to make sure. And they coordinate it, we'll support it. I'll make sure you have what you need, but just own that, make sure we have those things going on. Do you guys see the benefits to having those events too?
I just think it's a source of encouragement. If anything, it's just always nice to get together and see you all.
Yeah. Like right now, we heard Kevin. Okay. Now, what better thing to do than to right now finish up this meeting and hop on the phones? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and let's do that. Yeah. Exactly. And so let's plan these things. So next month or whoever, we'll see what next month meeting holds, the topics, but we could coordinate things like that. So
Does each one of us have an email list of friends and acquaintances?
What's that?
Does each of us have a list of, contact
Well,
lists?
what about our past clients?
Well, even all your past friends,
My
and they know what
past
you
friends.
do and what you're about. You could send a small bio of who you are, what you're doing, and say, hey,
Well, Fred,
I've got hundreds of contacts in my contact list. They
So-
don't know what I do.
if right now, if I were to say, hey, Fred, let's email your group right now that you're going to have a barbecue next Saturday. Could you email? Would you be able to send that email out within 20 minutes to your entire group?
Sure.
Nice. Okay. Are you able to call everybody?
I pretty much have their phone numbers here.
Nice. You are one of like 1 in 100 that actually have that list put together. That's part of what's the training for breakthrough is people know everybody, but they don't have a list. Like you might have part of your list here on the phone, you have part of your list on your computer, you have part of your list somewhere else, you know, and it's like you don't have a central place that you're going to tap, you know, because that's the key. If it's in a central place loaded up, you'll use it. But right now, are you staying in contact with all of them 2-3 times a month?
You know,
Exactly.
not really.
Why is that so hard? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense.
When I worked commercial, I had over 300 contacts of just commercial agents.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you rely on each other in commercial to work with each other.
Speaking of commercial, I'm loving the CoStar upgrade and everything.
Yeah, I need to talk to you.
Awesome. So, all right. That's all I got for today's meeting. And we're actually like 7 minutes early. Wow.
Wow.
Cool.
Man,
Cool.
thank you guys.
Go chase down a couple of dogs.
Nice.
Thanks.